Hello, everybody. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to the Gaz Wlliams Show with me, Gaz Wlliams. Would you have it? Trying to stream live on Wednesday, UK time, around 8 p.m. Trying to increase the frequency of these shows. I'd like to get back to doing them weekly, but sometimes that's not possible. But I'm going to try and do them when I can. So thanks so much if you do join me live. And I can see some people in the chat room already. Keith in Watford. Hello, Tracker Jack. Hey, nice to see you. Pendle Steve. Great. So, yeah. Lovely to have you with me, and I'm sure some more will join as we carry on. But also really appreciate it when you check out the show when it's not live as well. So that's also cool. Please consider subscribing and maybe give this video a like, even if it's a whole load of rubbish. Because it might well be, because tonight, this is a little bit of a hasty idea, but I think it could be quite fun. We're not going to be making any sound tonight. We're just going to be making some visual things because I've got in front of me the Sleepy Circuits Hypno. Now, this isn't mine. My friend Ryan has lent it to me. I've had it for a few weeks now, but I actually haven't really delved into it. So we're going to be doing that tonight. It's going to be a little bit of an investigation, really. But what was interesting to me was these patch points and how we can move the visualizations around with something that outputs control voltage. And it just so happened to have in this little rack here, this is the OCHD from DivKid, which I've recently just expanded. This is the brand new Xpander. And we'll talk a little bit about that. But I thought rather than using that with audio, we'll try using that with video. Could be quite interesting. We'll see how we get on with it. So the Hypno is an entirely digital affair. It's got HDMI output on there. Essentially, it's a Raspberry Pi under the hood here, but there's quite a lot of other things going on with it. Sleepy Circuits, really kind of quite an interesting company. They've just released their latest product, which is called Mez, which is a very interesting looking MIDI controller, ostensibly to control their own video OS software, but also you could just use this as a Bluetooth MIDI controller. And there's a ring. I should really have a picture of this, shouldn't I? Anyway, I'm sure you could look it up, but it's Sleepy Circuits, a Mez. It looks really cool. It's got haptic controls. And one of the things that I thought that caught my attention with that was one of the problems when you use endless encoders. I mean, endless encoders are really good. There's and in the case of the Mez, you get a little visual indicator to show where the parameter is. But when you turn an endless encoder, you don't hit the end stop that you would with a regular knob, a pot, you know. But apparently what this one does is it uses haptics. So if you turn the knob and hit the maximum, you'll get a little knock, a little jolt, a little haptic response. And it looks like a really cool little MIDI controller. So although, as I say, designed for this, initially for this video software, it could be used for all sorts of things. Maybe I'll be able to get hold of one in the future to have a look at. But anyway, I'm talking about something that we're not looking at tonight again. So we are going to be just talking about the Hypno, and again, the DivKid, Instruo OCHD, and the Xpander. Just going to say a few more hellos to people joining. Hey, hi Jack. Culture of Ghosts, Half God, Half Beast, Matt Brown, John Bryans. Have I missed anyone yet? Andrew Brooks, hello. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you. Really cool. Right. Okay, so without further ado, let's have a little look in principle at what's going on here. So with a Hypno, it generates sort of like two channels that can be overlaid, and then you can play around with the settings of either channel. So if we go here, we can see what the Hypno is currently outputting, and a little tweak here will do this, a little tweak here will do this, tweak here, so on. But don't worry, I am going to go through this in a little bit more, with a little bit more kind of I don't know, close up. We'll investigate it a little bit more. But I'm at the moment, all this motion that I'm doing here, like for instance, I'm just doing by hand. So it'll be fun to bring in the modulation. But the Hypno does have its own inbuilt modulation too. So a combination of that and the external modulator, in this case, as I say, the Oct, we should be able to kind of make some quite interesting visual movement going on. Something I've noticed is that creative visuals really do seem to be on the up at the moment. All of the EMOMs and the different synth events that I've been performing at or taking part in have all featured visual performances too, and I'm finding that quite interesting. It really brings a lot to these kind of events. Often when a performer's fairly static and bent over, looking over things. That's not me, by the way. But having some sort of visuals is almost like a necessity, really. But I think where it's also interesting is where the devices that can do this actually, where there's a kind of crossover to our beloved music technology. And we can see with this, as it's got the ports on there, but familiar knobs. And actually this, even though it's in a little case here, the Hypno can be mounted into a Eurorack, and you can see that it is the same size, the 3 HP of the Eurorack standard. Just checking. Sorry, chat room. Nice, good to see you. Good, nice. Hey, Synthetic. Homegrown. Nice. Okay. Right. So if you will, I must press on with this. So we will. Let's have a look what we got going here. Let's come back here and let's pop myself in here. I might create another view where we can see the Hypno. I think that would be useful, and the screen. Let me just sort that out, and then that will mean that you can see me adjusting things and see the visuals change. I should have set that up before. Apologies, didn't think to do that. Right, let's get on. La 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 la. I should really make something. It should make it do things whilst I'm setting this up. You can see. Right. Let's just change this. Oh, you're gonna have to see me do it, I think. Let's just do it. Ooh. Let's just using the Roland VR1 HD, still a review model actually. But yeah, when we can adjust things on the video switcher that I'm using, you can program it from itself, or you can use a computer editor. I'm using the computer editor here. Let's just copy this across like so. I can change now what the B channel is, which I'm going to move that to this. I'm going to change what the A channel is, which is going to be this. And then I think if I go to the A channel and zoom in, we're getting there. Let's just adjust this a little bit more. Sorry about this. I really should have done this before. I didn't. I should have. It would have made more sense. Like so. I just change the. Zoom out a little bit. All right. Yeah, if I do that a little bit more, we can see the modulation as well. Actually, that's fine. We got that there. We don't need to see much about that. Actually, let's just talk very briefly about this module then, the Oct. It's been out for a few years. It's 8 analog LFOs, triangle waves, which are not synced at all. They're just free running. And then recently, the recent release of this Xpander what it essentially does is take different LFOs and manages to sort of turn them into a different kind of signal. So, for instance, the first four are rectified. This is a bipolar, which is going into a positive phase and then a negative phase. So many things respond to bipolar, but the first four outputs here are unipolar outputs, which means that it's just going from 0 to 5. Now, that's really handy because it's extracting it from there and rectified. It means that you get 2 cycles for every one. In unipolar, you get 2 cycles for every single cycle within the bipolar. So I think though that the controls are all respond to bipolar on here. So that's something we can have a look at. But it's quite handy now then though that the Oct now with these 4 you can get those. If you're new to this or don't understand what I'm talking about, it's like if we're using something to modulate a sound or to modulate a value, whatever that might be, then if it's going to the positive and if what you're plugging it into is a unipolar input, then as that cycle goes into the positive and then into the negative phase and then back into the positive phase, all of the stuff in the negative cycle will kind of be ignored. It'll kind of park at the bit until it comes back up again. So, having unipolar outputs then expands the functionality of this module. And if you notice, you can see the lights are flashing, and so the way that the outputs are scaled is that slow getting faster, and then the LEDs, and you can actually probably tell that the LEDs are actually going between they're going through 2 different colors. They're going from like a kind of white to an orange, indicating the bipolar movement. It's a little bit sad that there wasn't any on there, but I don't know that you need them on there. But you do have to kind of wonder which LFOs, because these are like 8 independent LFOs, which ones each one of these are driving. So I was explaining the first one here, and then I'll come back to other ones. But yeah, because like for instance gates, these bottom 2 inputs on the Hypno where there's a little which are underlined, they're gate inputs. So now we've got 4 gate outputs. So we'll look at that. Anyway, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but I wanted to talk about that a little bit. This is new. This Xpander is new. And I bought it last week, I think. I bought it for the purpose of I really like the Oct, but just having these extra different versions of this. Oh, I should mention that the only controls you've got on Oct is a master speed control, so which will scale all of them faster or slower. But yeah, none of them are related though, so none of these don't do, this doesn't really do timed stuff. This is kind of free running. And then the only other control on there is this little attenuator here, which means we can modulate the speed. Even self-patch, take something out from here into there and then control the amount. Now, if we find that the outputs of this are there's too much if it's moving stuff too much, next door here we've got the Molten Modular Motion Meter, which is our good friend Robin Vincent, who was on Sonic Talk earlier today with me and Nick. But this is his first module, and it's like an attenuator, but with visual indicators. So actually, let's just do this for fun. Now we can see that if I took out an LFO and plugged it in, I'll plug it into channel 1 here, and then as I turn this up, and indeed, actually, let's just maybe if I put this into a different channel, let's put it into the middle channel. Hope you can see it a little bit better. Or actually, even the third channel. Turn it up. Oops. I don't know why that's not doing that. Let me put it into that one. So yeah, it's kind of nifty. But there we can absolutely see that the output of the Oct is bipolar. And you can see the colours of this are kind of indicating that. Now if I come out of this, go into the top one. Let's try a slower one. And you can see, let's just tilt that up a little bit. Kind of weird angle. You can see the two outputs working differently there. Ah, thanks, Robin. Robin did actually send me this module, I should ask, but Ben didn't send me this one. Yeah, but that's quite kind of cool indicator. So, well, actually, while we're here, why don't we look what these other ones look like? Let's just back that off a little bit. Or slow it down, in fact, maybe. So you can see that output is not like that's not moving like a triangle back and forward. So let's see I'm trying to remember what these outputs are, this second batch. Oh yeah. Oh, that's right. It's like a comparator between two LFOs so that it'll combine them and you'll get the high parts of the combined waveform, or for the same LFO down here we'll get the low parts of them. I think it works that way. So then down the bottom here we've got these kind of 4-bit ones, which should, so yes, we've got 4 gates, and then here these 4-bit ones, which I think will make it I'm just trying to watch what it's doing. Needless to say, these are not nice, kind of just nicely behaved triangles. So yeah, 24 outputs in a very small 8 HP. So it's probably the most outputs I've ever seen in that kind of space. But yeah, so anyway, this is all a little bit academic without actually seeing it operate things, but I just thought it might be quite interesting just to have a little look at them. The 4 gates, by the way, they are derived from the different LFOs, and I say gates, trigger outputs really, but they do cascade as well. So if you plug into the bottom one, the last one, then without plugging into the other ones, then you'll get like multiple gates coming out. So some really kind of interesting ideas in there. But I just check in with the chatties. Yeah. Oh, hello, Wagyu. Hey, Fat Dust. All right, thanks everybody. Thanks for joining. It's really nice to have you here. Right. Anyway, let's get on with the main event. Now everybody's here, which is getting the Hypno operating, and then we're going to start modulating it. Let's just pull these out for now. Okay, let's go to our new scene we just created, and let's have a little look. Okay, I got the manual open in front of me, so I'll probably just read out a little bit about that for each of the controls, just so we've got some sort of idea. Right. So these are our polarization controls. So it's like there's 2 halves to this. There's layer 1 and then there's layer 2. Okay. Then for each layer, we can change the shapes of. And in fact, that'll be our first little patch thing we'll do. Oh, yeah, by the way, when I was going through the shapes are all like kind of graphically generated shapes until you come to the last stage, which will then play a video that's on, in this case, if you can see, there's a little USB stick in the back of that. So that's what that'll do. So anyway, I'm just going to do this as a starting thing. I'm going to take one of these gates and I'm going to put it in there just to see if this is indeed. Oh yeah. So let's slow that LFO down. Yeah, so it's going through them, and then you can see when it flicks to the video and there's all the action going on. Okay, so all right, that was almost just proving that it kind of works. Okay, let's go through these controls then. So we got our polarizations. Oh, sorry, no, this is the Y offset, isn't it? Of course, this is controlling a Y offset. I think they act as polarizing controls as well. These will rotate. Okay. And then we've got these which control, the sliders control like a kind of zoom here. They are kind of center notched as well, those faders, but I don't know if that's just so you can find the 50% or if that's a good, well, yeah, okay. And then, so on the surface, I mean, oh yeah, these controls here, this is like a gain control. Okay, we'll explore that a little bit more. And then this one here is our hue control. So you can see that change in the colors of everything. So like plenty of things to modulate. Let's have a little go then at modulating that, just this hue control for now. I'm not sure if this is going to modulate the top bit, actually. I don't know if there is a hue control. Oh yeah, that's modulating the gain control, isn't it? Okay, maybe I can't modulate the hue, or maybe not that way. Anyway, there are like gold lines on here. You can probably just that you can make out that align to the controls. Yeah, but this one, I guess you follow the line along, takes you to the gain control. Okay, try something else. Okay, let's have a look though. So buttons. Yeah, so we went through the shape buttons, and then this top button changes the type of feedback between, let's see now, between like regular, hyper digital, edgy, stable glitch, and inverted stable. But again, once we've got things moving, that feedback will then start to be much more noticeable. And okay, let me just have a look now. Okay, so those are the basic pages. Shape pages. Holding one of the side buttons on the Hypno enters the UI into an alternate state, allowing more detailed controls of the shapes. So, oh yeah, holding a button. So you have to keep holding it. Yeah, holding the button. Yeah. Okay, so we can see us changing that background there. Yeah, and there's a whole heap of things going on. Oh yeah. I think we can make it move with this control as well. Hold it and move it. And then this is putting its own internal kind of modulations. So if we do this for channel 2 as well. So I'm imagining, though, if you were to build music sets where you're thinking about what kind of control voltage to send out, I think this is what's going to be quite interesting. It's something I'd like to return to. Yeah, we can see stuff is starting to go on now. We're getting some nice patterns going on. Let's just look full screen. Yeah, I'll just toggle through the feedback modes whilst it's doing this now. Okay. That one's the one that says hyper digital. And then this one, what did they call this one? Edgy. And then the stable glitch. And then inverted stable. Now, but there are feedback controls as well. So we hold the feedback button down, and then that will mean then that we can affect the way the feedback is working. Okay, so we've got the feedback offset. They're all sort of quite interactive with each other. Feedback rotation. Okay. That's feedback X. That's the feedback X offset, and then this is the feedback Y offset. And then feedback rotation mod. Video art is really interesting. I mean, I really don't know much about it at all. Feedback zoom. This zooms the feedback frame in and out. Oh yeah. This is then hue shift using this button 1. Can't see that doing much at the moment. Yeah, and then we got our feedback. Things don't seem to be doing what I expect them to do by reading them. And okay, and the concepts are quite new to me. A lot of this, I don't understand necessarily what's going on. But anyway, I wanted to just be able to modulate things to see how the LFOs... Well, I thought it would be quite fun with the Oct, because there is just that single speed control. Then it could, by turning the one control, could, potentially have really, lots and lots and lots of, lots of action from just the single turn. But what I'll need to do first, though, I think, is park the built-in modulations. Otherwise, we'll just get really confused. Now, I've got to try and remember how to do that. But, I mean, I think what's quite fun with these things, though, I think, is that without not necessarily knowing what you're doing, just tweaking away is, is a lot of fun. But, if you get things, I'm really curious about, if you take out outputs from oscillators and outputs from envelopes, so when the audio responds to an envelope, there's a visual control that's also responding to the same envelope. And if you built a big patch up around that kind of notion, I don't know how to get this to. I wonder if, in fact, if there's just a button you can press which resets it, that would make sense. Let's have a little look. But yeah, I mean, it's got a cool look to this. Over the next few months, I think I will be exploring more things with video synthesis, because it is an area that I am kind of interested in. But yeah, with devices like this that can interact with your modular or whatever, you know, you don't need a modular for this. If you have, I don't know, a semi-modular, you know, mini brute or something like that. But yeah, look, it's really nice looking. I wonder how well the pixels are going to hold up over YouTube. Right. Oh man, there's more and more. Presets. Each of the Hypno's buttons represents a preset slot. Holding 2 buttons lets you access the slot on the 3rd button. Oh, I see. Let's try that. Let's see what's in here then. Holding 2 down. It's gone. It's look at that. Well, that's not a very good preset. Let's see what that one. Okay. Haha, it's not dead. Quick tip. Oh, it says quick tip. Make an ini patch. When Hypno starts up, it'll be in the default state. Save this to a preset slot and always have access to initialize state, or you know, or make your own initialized state. And you know, it's so important, isn't it? If you're patching, or like for instance on the Super 6 behind me, if you hold down the shift button and hit manual, it puts it into its init patch. It's almost always the very first thing I do on the Super 6 is just initialize the patch. And knowing what all the parameters, what your starting values are, is just essential for a kind of sound creation. So it stands to reason that video creation will be the same. So I think what I'll do then is I'll power it down and then bring it, and then when it comes back up, then it'll be in the initialized state. So yeah, I might actually do this to save this. Let's work out how you save. To save, hold the third button. Oh, I see. You hold 2 buttons and then press the 3rd button, and it'll save it where. Okay, let's do that. Oh, let's have a look now. Oh, that's the init then, is it? That's maybe not. Okay, well, that didn't work. I'm a little bit confused. Like when I've only used this, barely used it at all, but every time I've used it, it's been different. So I'm not entirely sure, obviously, what I'm doing. But yeah, makes nice, pretty pictures. But wow. Okay. So there's my one channel. Let me just. I thought you could. I might have been in the wrong mode earlier. Let's just have a look if it's different. Yeah. Okay. This is what I want. Okay. Right. Happy now. I've got something static so I can control the wiggling. So I'm going to take out a bipolar. I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to see what that does. So let's just try slowing it down. Okay. So in that, you know, attenuating that would probably be a nice thing. Let's see though, if I set the fader. Ah, that looks like that's unipolar, doesn't it? It's like I was saying, it goes so far. Unless, oh, is that still moving? Well, we can test that. Let's pop it into there instead. Let's do it this way as well. Okay, so it seems like that's unipolar then, doesn't it? That's definitely moving correctly. All right, let's put another one in. And we'll go, I'll take another one here. Let's pop it in there. Let's put a bit of wibble wobble on there. Let's try it in one of these weird outputs at the bottom here. That doesn't seem to work so well. Oh, that's kind of cool. Let's put in a bit of wibble wobble in there. Let's try the speed. Let's get this over here a little. Okay. More things. Okay, let's try. Try another LFO. And I think the one side's been having all the fun, so let's get the blue side moving. Nice. Coming in and out. Let's put another one in. And I'll have this one going here. Oh, that's gone a bit crazy now. So let's take that one out. I'll try it in that one instead. So yeah, total trial and error really. See if just let's try another one. It's not, well, here we go. Let's try and get it so, okay, so slow it down more. What I'm hoping to see is, because these are analog oscillators that are the LFOs are analog LFOs, I'm hoping to see some sort of, I don't know, what am I hoping to see? I mean, it's controlling digital stuff, but I'm hoping to see something that makes it feel analog. I know Ryan, my friend, he's got two of these. He says that when you send them, when they go really slow, they don't go super smooth. They get a bit jagged. So we'll see if now, if I change the shape, big things will happen. No, it didn't. Yes, there we go. Let's try changing it on here too. So having things that change around with the LFOs, let's make it go faster. Okay, try a different feedback mode now. Wow, that's that hard digital edge. Let's just see though, if we play with the feedback controls, if we can make, Just going to change the color hue a little bit there. Right, so this digitally, well, it's just like 8 colors, isn't it? It's, or is it 16 colors? Oh, it's just like RGB. Let's try this one then. Okay, just going to tweak away a little bit and see. It's all a bit ugly at the moment. Not sure. Yeah, maybe prefer that. Again, slow it down. These sliders then. Okay, that's still like zooming. Apologies if you're saying anything in the chat room. I will pay attention in a moment. Once I feel like getting a little bit more control going on here. Circles. Yeah, it's quite baffling in that when the different ideas in this video art thing, like with a synth, you have all your standards that you'll reach for: release time, cutoff, resonance, FM amount. But with this kind of stuff, I just haven't a clue about what are the various things that will, really do the trick. Okay. So this is having a huge effect, this control. Actually, so why don't we try modulating that one? I might do this with the attenuator as well. If I've got a cable that'll reach, yeah, that'll do. Oh, a short one from there. Just try a standard one for now. Here goes. Oh yeah, so that's flying through those gain stages. So this would probably be better the slower it is. Or just attenuating it down here. Okay, I think it's getting quite trippy in there now. Okay, I wanted yeah, I want to feel these. I want to feel this more, this zoom motion, and I'm not seeing that. So let's try and get that happening a bit better. Oh, sorry if this is really boring. Yeah, I mean it's really easy to make a kind of ugly. Well, I say ugly, but like a generic sort of mess. I want those to rotate. I want that. I want to see that happen. So this LFO, why is it not rotating it around? Ah, no, that one is. I wonder if something really profound will happen. That's what I'm kind of hoping for, that you just suddenly find this golden ratio and everything just becomes unspeakably beautiful. I haven't found it yet. Okay. So some of this in and out, which is like this zooming in and out, that's a little bit too general for me. I'm going to try using one of these odder 4-bit outputs. Let's see if we can get that. God. I wanted there to be just like a gain control for each layer, and I thought that there was, but I can't see what does that. I want to just be able to mute. I mean, if I zoom, take that out actually. It's strange. It's a strange thing. Ooh, look at that. Yeah. So sometimes like just modulating things just stops you from, well, fine-tuning things. I'm getting bored of these shapes. Oh, right. Okay, that's a bit more fun. Oh, yeah, we can see that LFO movement there, can't we? We'll make that. Yeah, so let's try some of this again then. See, once it just becomes a big old kind of confusing thing. Oh, well, that's kind of going like into squares. It's all a bit too abstract for me. It feels it's nice, or I know this thing can do loads of stuff. It's just all about this whole strange interactivity of everything. Let's try those different feedback modes. God, that's pretty intense. Play with the hue control there. Okay. Back to the traditional feedback mode. Sorry, I'm trying to... It's all like I'm reading about stuff, I'm doing it, but it doesn't necessarily make me understand it. Yeah, as much as there's a lifetime of learning within the synth side of things, it surely is the same with visuals. That just all of the new terminology, or not necessarily terminology, but process to understand all of this stuff in some sort of performative way. I mean, some of this is getting a bit cool looking now. Oh, yeah. Let's see what our LFO speed is doing. So fast. Let's make it slower. So actually, it's running at its slowest. Let's see, it's not too bad, but I mean that. Let me see. We could probably get things to act slower if we plug them into the lower parts of the OCD. Not the OCD, the OCHD. Well, something's definitely shifting the hue now, which is what I wanted. It's too rapid though. I'm going to unpatch everything and see what it's doing without... Yes. So that was trying to stop is coming from its own... no. Let's see, was it... Blimey. finding it a bit too weird. The interface. It's quite nice. Still moving. It's still using. Yeah, I can't see enough visual indicators on here about things that let me know what I'm doing. It's kind of weird, you know, pressing a button, turning things, and then trying to ascertain what that actually does and why would you in fact want to do it. So that's rotating it that way, that's rotating it that way, so presumably if I put it at the top it won't rotate that. Let's find, what does that do? Let's do the same with this side. I just want to be able to mute the sides, just for, I suppose it's so designed to be constantly providing visuals that having more technical things like being able to mute and solo, you don't really need, just to solo a channel. Mind you, that's got performance effects, but can't see how to do it. So trying to work out which channel is which is a little bit confusing. Mind you, this is the man who hasn't read the manual. I've got it in front of me, but I've not really gone too far into the manual. There are CC values, so if you do put MIDI into this, there's a lot you can map to CC. Just say note, Hypno is currently a MIDI host only, because it's got the Pi in there, it's got USB sockets around the back, but it's not able to work as a MIDI device. It has to be the host. Help mode. Hold the two side buttons and turn this knob all the way to the right. Oh, side buttons. Oh, it must mean these two buttons. Wait, sorry, yeah. Hold these two side buttons and turn this knob all the way to the right. Aha. See those people, those manual naysayers. Okay, it's good that they've built that in, isn't it? So rotation of A and a rotation of B. Y offset A, polarization B. I see. So they are set to different things. So there are ways of setting these to different things. That probably explains why I've been getting really confused. Frequency A. Yes, it's talking about it frequency, but yeah, it appears to be zooming. So is the frequency something, the way the frequency is affecting this is to do with, yeah, like the size of it. And frequency B. So I know this then will be hue, and then this will be the gain. Okay. Right, so this is why I've been confused then. So Y offset A, polarization B. So you can change what these are doing. And is that a case of polar fractal mod A? God, sorry, this is really not a lot of fun for you guys, I'm afraid. Sorry. But yeah, I like having the controls though. The help screen, certainly for now. But right, hold down the frequency. Yeah, see, so feedback rotation. And feedback X. And feedback rotation mod. You can kind of see the thing is sort of, without really knowing what you're doing, these things don't really seem to do much. Well, then I suppose the interactivity, the levels of everything else, depending what else is going on, is going to determine how much these controls affect things. Okay, so that's it feels like, it does feel like an exciting world though. I managed to get it to stay still. Okay. Yeah. Right. So yeah, I wanted to do more with it. In a way, I was kind of selfishly thinking that this would be quite an interesting way of understanding what these new what the new Xpander does. So let's have a little look then. I will try something. Now it's static. Yeah, I'm curious about these stepped voltages on the bottom here. Oh, yeah, you can see that moving in steps. Let's make that faster. Right. So that's quite interesting, isn't it? So if you're used to the Oct, it's always very, very smooth. So these kind of steppy things is quite an interesting thing to have out of the outputs. So I'll try a different output. And I think that they will just move at different rates, but be in principle the same, stepped. I'll leave the Oct at 12 o'clock. And they are sort of doing things. Yeah. Okay. So seeing that motion, and that'll contrast with, see, look at that now. You see nice, really nice, smooth. And then have a look at just how it looks if I put it in bipolar. That seems to be working okay in bipolar, doesn't it? And then, do these become attenuators when you plug into them? I wonder. No, they just, I think it's just setting the offset, isn't it? Okay. So at least I know that frequency A is this kind of cyan color. So let's see. Right, rotation mod, I'll leave that. Fractal mod, that's what I'm kind of interested in. Well, that's doing something quite nice, isn't it? Making it sort of, try these different feedback modes again. Ooh. Yeah, I think I'll stay with that one. But yeah, it's a really, really kind of curious thing. Right, advanced shape pages. Holding two buttons using the internal shapes brings up the advanced shape pages. Okay, well, perhaps that's too advanced for me right now. But like, if I was to hold down these two buttons and then start changing, actually, those two are not mapped. Don't know if I'm going to be able to see much happening here because Oh, God. This is so weird. It's sort of... I wish I could control the gains of the layers. I thought this gain control... Is it... I'm going to pull out the modulator now. So I've made it move again. Right, so that's not moving. Help. It's so... Oh dear. It's all pretty psychedelic though. But I guess when you get good at this, being able to... Nothing they do seems to make any difference. It's annoying me. Well, that one, I know that's always going to change the colour. And this gain control... Okay. And I know that the shape buttons will do things. Quite drastic things. Of course. I know what's happening. The video file. Every time I step through these, when I hit the video file is of... The video file itself is of a bit of video. There we go. All right. Phew. Okay. So, right. So if we take, like, say that control, then we can see what it's doing in the maximum, minimum. So I'm going to plug that in. LFO. Yeah, that definitely feels that control needs to be unipolar, doesn't it? Because it's pausing on that. Let's try it in the unipolar output. Yeah, it's in and out, isn't it? Without... Yeah. And again, I'm going to just see the really slow. See what Ryan's saying. That if you kind of, it's a bit steppy. Yeah, see, like it's steppy. You'd kind of want it really slow, just to. Yeah, so it's nice and smooth up until a point, and then it becomes steppy. Yeah, you want things to go really slow, don't you? That's a bit of a shame. But I think the help page has gone. Let's have 2 buttons and turn this one all the way over. Nope. The help has gone. How has that gone? Help mode. Oh, sorry, the 2 side buttons. Okay. Nope. Help mode. Nope. Don't know why. Help mode is gone. So, I'm on my own again. No, I'm not. I've got the lovely chatties with me. I must be boring senseless tonight. Apologies. Thanks for sticking with me, though. And I will look and be present with you shortly once I feel I've got some sense of control. Okay. I want to see it. See, it seems to, when it reaches the outer ends, it seems like to have a jerk, doesn't it? Kind of jerks. Wonder why that is. Okay, let's try another one then. In my naivety, I was assuming that this would all just be really exciting. Red Walks. Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. I wonder if, like, some people are, more naturally gifted musicians, and I wonder if some people will just understand instinctively how to relate some of this video art to things that really stimulate the viewer. I mean, like, it's very easy, like, now to be making all of this wild looking stuff. Still occasionally sort of just a little snappy jerk at times, doesn't it? That does feel a little smooth there. There's like a frame. It's just like a kind of like a frame where it just freezes. It doesn't do it all the time. So I don't know if that's like a process, just the processor just not being able to handle everything. Yeah. All right, now let's get the LFO moving this parameter around and see how it looks. I'm going to try and keep things smooth. See, the LFO doesn't do anything to that. I'm turning that control. So I'm thinking that the control and the CV aren't necessarily the same, not necessarily controlling the same thing. Because as I'm moving that control, I can see it changing, albeit not particularly interestingly, but I can see that changing. But that LFO is not changing it. Let's try it out with a different output. Yeah, that's doing something now. Whee! Okay. Why was that output not moving it then? The plot thickens. And there's output. There we go. It's doing it again. Okay. Ah. Let's try and make that. I'll try changing that shape then of that layer. I can't work out why Okay, if I don't touch it, it's fine. If I touch the knob, have I got a dodgy cable? Maybe. Okay, let's try changing that shape though. Yeah, look. Aha! Can you see as I'm pushing that cable, something isn't right, is it? So when I've been nudging that cable, it's been causing that. Ooh, look at that. Maybe it's these. These are very skinny. These are really, really skinny cables. Maybe it doesn't always make a good connection. Let's see if that repeats the same thing with this one. If we can see it again. Yeah, we can see that move in. No. I've just bought loads of these. Okay. I'm wondering if they're so skinny. I wonder if they just aren't making a great connection. Okay. Right, but anyway, that layer it's not that interesting, but let's see if we can make that do something a bit more interesting. Change the shape. Oh, it is a shame it's not smoother when it's going slow. Ooh. What my end game here was, I was hoping, well, we'll see, maybe we'll get there, was to get things all, lots of modulation going on, and then I was going to take out an output and self-modulate, so it should just make everything just go absolutely ballistic. I was just kind of curious to see if the video stuff if it'll kind of balk, or if it can handle it. I do think maybe some of these cables have been, maybe this is the same make as that pink one, but that might explain some of those strange pauses. Okay, now let's see, what does this one do? God, I still don't feel I've made anything particularly nice yet. It's all so abstract. Ooh, gosh. Wow. So that is changing things in a really interesting way. Let's chuck something in to modulate that then and see how that works. Change the speed. We see what we're actually getting on. See, too fast is just horrible, isn't it? You know, it's just yeah, not very pleasant at all. But like slow evolving stuff, that's what we want. Smoothly slow. So I'm thinking this gain control then. Is it like in the center? Is that the gain? That's the gain off. It's almost gone. And then turn it to the left. And then turn it to the right. Is that some sort of inverted? I'd also like to be able to modulate the color shift like this. But I can't see a way to do that. Right, let's put the gate in to change things. Let's see what this does. I'll put it on the other side as well. God, I keep expecting it to do more things, and it doesn't. I don't know. Okay. Because, of course, the gate, those gates changing the shapes then is just cycling through all the different shapes, including the video file. Wow. See, occasionally you just go, whoa, what did I just do then? So, you know, I was just trying to say, if some people just instinctively know where the sweet spots are, what is good, or whether that just is what I suspect it to be, just down to just lots and lots of practice and lots of experimentation. But I'm kind of finding I'm enjoying now the LFO control. As I say, this one control here is impacting quite a lot of stuff. Let's get something else. May as well just patch everything again. Oh, that gain, patching the gain then is making it strobe a little bit. Changing the feedback modes again. That's quite cool. Let's make that LFO slower. Can't seem to get away from certain things. God. Yeah, just changing stuff, but I don't know. Find it's kind of interesting, but also frustrating. Yeah, like everything is sort of weird. I've seen Ryan do some really cool, getting some really cool things out of it. So there clearly is a lot more you can do than my clumsy fumblings are kind of showing. But yeah, I think there's definitely stuff going on that the controls are not what I think they should be. Unless it's the different firmware. I'm not sure what firmware this one is running. I'm looking at the 2.3 manual. In fact, let's try this then. Again, it's one of these things, we've talked about this a lot, where you've got lots and lots and lots of functionality with just a few buttons and lots of combinations, holding down two things, turning knobs, and then, but there not being really much in the way of the visual feedback on the unit itself. So it makes it feel, well, it's very easy to kind of lose track of what you're doing. Yeah, the jury's out a little bit about the Hypno for me. It's certainly really good, and I've seen people do good stuff with it, but find that come into it like almost fresh, like now, is kind of a frustrating thing to make any sort of progress with. Oh, I'm going to just check in. Hey, Ryan. Ryan's in the... This is Ryan's Hypno. He's saying zooming out. But yeah, well, that's actually quite nice. Let's try this in a different... Oof. Well, that's pretty mental, isn't it? Oh, nasty. Oh, no. Let's see, it's gone horrible now. Hang on. I'm going to unpatch it all again. It's just lose control of it. And then it's like, oh, no. David Lynch. Nice to have you here, David Lynch. Try disconnecting the LFO CV to activate the help again. Oh, I think the modulation interferes with the on command. Ah, thank you, my friend. That is very kind. That is good to know. Look at that big StreamYard logo. It's horrible. Right, I need to get rid of that thing. Okay. Ooh, this is interesting. Feels like now that's... Why is that all like that? Is it the feed? No. Okay. So, yeah, it's all a bit weird. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, yeah, so let's see if I can, anyway, at least get the help back. Can't see that. Outer buttons. No, that's not doing. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. It's just turned horrible. Oh, hang on, though. Let's not be too hasty. Oh, it's so weird to me, though. Everything is just a new, totally new frontier. Yeah. Oh, this must be... See, it is the progress I thought I was making with it has gone all out the window. I haven't a clue what's going on anymore. Yeah, so I really don't know what on earth is going on. So, yeah, it's sort of strange. The guy behind Sleepy Circuits, he knows what... He's very good. But yeah, I think it just goes to show, though, really need to spend a bit of time with things before doing live streams about them. Yeah, it's just... Wow, I mean, definitely can make some quite amazing looking things. This is some of the best looking stuff we've seen tonight, I think. Yeah, I just don't instinctively know what to do with it. Let's modulate that one anyway. Oh my goodness, what happened then? Wow. You see, then suddenly it just explodes. Yeah. And it's like, what on earth is... How on earth is this going? How did I get here? Yeah. Mystery. It's a very mysterious experience. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm probably going to stop streaming pretty soon. Not quite sure I got to where I wanted to get to with this tonight. I'm more confused than I was at the start. So, so chatties, so my live chat friends, if you have any questions or anything that you'd like to ask or tell me what to do, now's your time. I'm going to be focused. I got to put that up, Wagyu. Feel like the encoding bees are going to attack my beard again with this madness. Yes, those of you who've seen that on the Sonic State episode, that was fantastic. Ryan is saying best to learn how to get how to get back to the init patch. But I remember, how do you get it back to the init patch? I can get it back to that, or now that I wasn't expecting. So that's coming from the drive. Yeah, Atomic Tom, that would have been a good idea, wouldn't it? It would have been much more interesting. Yeah, that's also true. Oh, hold center button, right button. Hold the center button and right button and hit the left button. Hold center button, right button, hit left button. No. Hold center button, right button, hit left button. Nah, that's not doing it for me. I'll try it with the other way around. Well, that gets us there. Is that the starting point? Yeah, okay. So I haven't really made any progress tonight. However, I have enjoyed it very much, and yeah, I think the DivKid Oct Xpander definitely has increased what that is capable of doing. However, using that in some meaningful way with this Hypno hasn't quite happened for me. Maybe I've saved over the init patch. Yeah, but if I've done that, then I've done that kind of entirely accidentally. So sorry, mate. Okay, thanks very much. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, it's good to hang out. Good company. Need to spend some time with Ryan, I think, with it. So I should mention, actually, as we're talking about Ryan, I met Ryan at the Bleep Club, Bristol's kind of community jamming, visual jam. It's a thing that happens every fortnight. It's going to happen in Strange Brew. It's just gone now. It was just happened last Monday, and it's people come, bring various electronic instruments together, but also, and crucially, video artists come as well, and multiple come, and then they project into different parts of the room. And it's a very immersive and interesting experience. And it's, it happens fortnightly. So if you are in and around Bristol and want to become part of it, Bleep Club is Bleep, BLEEP, but Club is KLUB. So if you want to find us on Facebook, and if you're interested in coming along, then the first time we ask people to not bring any instruments, just to come along and just check it out. And then if you want to come back and bring instruments, to get involved with the online side of it, just so we know who's coming and how many people are going to be there. But we had, I think we had 9 or 10 people playing music on Monday, and we had 3 different visual artists working. So not huge numbers, but probably don't want huge numbers either. But what we hope to do with Bleep Club in the future are collective shows, and I would like to, maybe some live streams as well. But also I'd like to, carry out some experiments with what's possible with a collective of people. On Monday, I asked everybody just to try and jam and not use any sounds that are longer than 200 milliseconds. So working in really, really tiny little slithers of sound, because if you've got so many people going on, it's so easy to fill up the space. So that was an idea, just to see what would happen if you play really, really short little notes. And I think after a while it started to coalesce into something quite nice, with lots and lots of really, really, really tiny little notes going on, but made by quite a few people. So yeah, I'd definitely find Bleep Club something that is really good fun. We typically ask for a donation of £5 if you want to come along. But that's it really about that Bleep Club. But yeah, so check that out on Facebook, the Bleep Club, and we have actually got a forum as well. So yeah, if that's something that's interesting to you. But yeah, so I met Ryan there. I met a lot of people there, actually. Ryan's a great musician. He performed at the Sonic EMOM, I think the same one that I did, under the name of Arcaton, yeah. So, and I've just confirmed today, actually, on Sonic Talk, I'm sure some of you were there, but I'm going to be playing at the Sonic State EMOM event on the 1st of March with Steve Davis. So we're going to do a duo set there. And that was booked during Sonic Talk. So that was fun. So that's something to look forward to, obviously a few months off. Also, with Robin Vincent being on the show, we talked about Synth East, which is something that I'm going to be taking part in as well. And that's in February. The last Synth East that happened earlier this year was really, really good. Very friendly event with, loads of stuff going on. And it's going to be bigger and better this year. So that's in February, out in Norwich. So bit of a trek for some, but beautiful city, and the event is well worth making the effort to go to, because it's if this year's one was anything to go by, it was a complete and utter hoot. It was brilliant. But yeah, tickets are available for that as well. So lots of things scheduled to happen over 3 days this time, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. I think I should probably have the dates. Let me just check. I think it's 27th-ish of February, is it? Red Walks is saying, found a name for me, the Pool Boys. Synchrotron is saying Rack. Yes, indeed. Rack is our new record label. So we've just edited what we think will be our first release. So yeah, I'll let you know when that's about to drop. But yeah, okay. Well, I think I'm going to go. Thanks for tonight. Just was a bit spontaneous. It's kind of interesting, but also makes me also realise how good the people who operate visuals are. And it's not just a question of wiggling controls. I think having more fundamental understanding of things is definitely going to be helpful, but still really fun. So we were looking at then, there was the Hypno from Sleepy Circuits, and yeah, the OCHD and the Xpander from Instruo, with a little help from the Molten Modular there. Okay, thanks everyone. I will see you soon. Oh, thank you, Wagyu. There we go. Synth East, 23rd to the 25th. And hope to see some of you there if you can make it. Otherwise, maybe see some of you in Super Booth. That's always good. And also, later in the year, Machina Bristronica returns with a bigger event as well, being spread over a couple of days this time as well. That was an amazing event this year. So next year's one is going to be even better. So yeah, things to look forward to. And I strongly recommend taking time to come to these events, because every one I've ever been to have just been really life-affirming, and the community gets stronger every year, and people are making more friends and seeing them time and time again at these events just increases that sense of community, and it feels fabulous to be involved with such a positive and forward-thinking, group of people, really. So, if you're on the fence about things like Super Booth, just take the plunge, book the time off. Synth East, Machina Bristronica, look at when the dates are and come. You will not regret it. Brilliant. And the social events that happen around these events as well. It's not just about gear. In fact, the gear is lovely, but that just acts as a honeypot to draw people together. And I've just had some really, just the most amazing times at these events. So yeah, anyway, I'm sure you know about this, and obviously things cost money and difficult to do in some cases, but would strongly recommend it. For, as I say, more than the gear, the kind of the human side of it makes it just so wonderful. Okay, thanks everybody, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.